Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Q&A. Of course, excited for tonight for episode 3 of The Walking Dead Season 6. In this one, we're going to be starting with and talking about whether or not we think the wolves are part or are paying up to the saviors. Okay, so I definitely wanted to answer this question because this is one that a few people are going ahead and asking, but I do have it here from Adam Hernandez, who said, the blonde wolf told Morgan that we didn't choose, after, Morgan basically let him know that if you choose this life, you will die. Sooner or later, someone will kill you. So then he responds saying that we didn't choose. Adam's question is, do you think there is a chance that they are being extorted by Negan and the Saviors, in which case they don't have a choice but to take what they can from Alexandria and pay tribute to the Saviors? Maybe it doesn't make sense as they don't have anything. So, great question from Adam, and I wanted to go ahead and give my thoughts on this one as to whether or not the Wolves are affiliated with or have anything to do with the Saviors, from what we can tell so far. So, right off the bat, so far, there's nothing indicating that they are affiliated with or connected to the Saviors in any way. But there certainly was quite a few of them that did attack Alexandria, and it seemed like they wanted to basically take it over for the most part. So that said, they also didn't, like Adam says here, they didn't have barely anything themselves. They had no guns. Their weapons were stuff you could find around. There was even a guy who had I think it was like a stick or something that was set to a point, and just different hand weapons, things like that, knives, stuff like that. One guy had the axe, and just things you could find in and around kind of anywhere. People's houses and stuff in a zombie apocalypse, they'd be kind of just around all over the place. But do we think that they're actually paying up to Negan and the Saviors? The thing is, in the comic book series originally, the Scavengers, who are the wolves in the comic book series, they're totally separate. Like when we meet them, they're separate from the from Negan and the Saviors and everything else that comes afterwards, the Hilltop and all the other communities, so far as we know. However, it did sure as hell seem like they would be the type of group that would have to pay up to Negan, or if they met Negan, he would force them to, and thus it would, affect their decision to go out and kind of find what they have to find in order to give it to him, because otherwise he would just kill them all, without without any hesitation. So that's an interesting question of whether or not they're going to connect the two. We do know that this season is going to cover a lot of the comic book series, so the wolves are going to be extended, it looks like, for quite a while, because many of them got away. So in the comic book series version, they would be dead already, if you want to compare, pretty much dead already, in terms of timeline and how much time they've already had. They just weren't much of a threat in the comic book series. So, it's a cool idea, and I do think it would make sense if they were to connect it, but I don't think that they will, because I think we're not going to see Negan come in until later on. They may mention it or say something, and that's a way they could kind of tie it in. But how could they tie it in the TV series if they haven't cast Negan already? They could never have a meeting between the two, since one would already be dead, unless it was a flashback or something afterwards by the time they cast and have Negan in an episode, which will be either the finale of season 6 or going into season 7 at some point. So right off the bat so far, I'm going to say probably not no. I think maybe what he means when he says we didn't choose is basically that they're starving, they have nothing, and they really don't have much of a choice, because they do need to eat, they do need to survive, and right now they have basically nothing. So they really don't have much of a choice but to go and take from others, because they're out basically. They've got almost pretty much nothing left. And, in the zombie apocalypse, we're getting to the point in time now where basically everything that would be kind of in and around out there, canned food, stuff like that, becomes harder and harder to find. I mean, if you think back even a few seasons back for Rick and the others, when they were kind of on their own running around, for example, in season 3, at the beginning in the premiere, they would go into a house and they would come through it and just try to see what they could find. And sometimes they could find a can of dog food or something, or that's about it, maybe a can of pudding or something. But it's not that easy to find food years into the zombie apocalypse, because a lot of the places will have been picked clean already, and major groups will go around, do raids, and take everything back with them. So I think that's what he meant by it. I don't think he means that they are actually being pressured by Negan to pay up. It would be really cool if they did that, but I don't think there's anything pointing to that fact as of yet. So we'll see. But from what I've seen so far, probably not, no. So that's my response to the first question. Next one is from Lamel, KH2, and he or she, I guess Lamel would be female, I would think. She says, I just wanted to point out something that you can mention in Q&A. Perhaps Enid really isn't a member of the Wolves. They didn't know about Alexandria seemingly until they received the photos in Aaron's pack. Does that weaken the theory that Enid is a spy? Well, it's an argued theory right now. A lot of people don't agree with it. Some sites claim that it's like official, like 100% confirmed. It's not. Like I said in the video where I did on it, I think it's a good probability, that it could be true, but we just don't know right now. Whether or not she had met them at any time prior, or whether they're just setting that up because she kind of ran away. Now, her motto is just survive somehow. So just because she left, that's kind of her just survive somehow, is to run away from a bad situation. If she thinks the group could possibly lose, then she'll get the hell out of there. However, it could backfire on her if she's either captured by the Wolves, if she's a part of it. If she's only a part of Alexandria, it doesn't have anything to do with the Wolves. And what you say does make sense too, and I did mention that in the video also, that they were kind of surprised by the photos, and they used the photos to go and find it and kind of plan out a strategy and attack when most of the group was gone. So there is that for sure. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do with Enid going forward, and whether she becomes kind of a long-time survivor, as well as what happens between Carl, Ron, and her, because of course Ron, with what happened to his dad, is not a big fan of Carl right now, and if Carl is to steal his girl, that might be too much. I would think it would be. Next is from Jordan Arias, and he says, he's got the descriptions. So episode 3, which is thank you. The description is a small group, including Rick, runs into hurdles while trying to return to Alexandria. So that's kind of cool. We kind of know that already from the promo anyway. Yeah, they are running into trouble as they're trying to get back. You've got Rick, who hurts his hand. You've got the rest of another group that goes another way, and we've seen them in like this small little town. Well, there's tons of zombies coming around, so pretty crazy, man. And what's going to happen? Are they going to get cut off or something, or just what's going to happen? So it should be really exciting. That's episode 3, thank you. And then episode 4, it says, so that's here's not here, right? A new face appears, trust issues form. Okay, so then that's basically it. A new face appears, trust issues form. So maybe somebody that Morgan meets, if it's a Morgan flashback episode, somebody that he meets, like a totally new person, and Morgan not sure if he can trust him or not, maybe giving him or her a shot, whoever it is. So that'll be interesting to see what happens with that. That's supposedly the 90-minute episode that we talked about just recently. So it should be good. That's about all I can say for the descriptions. Aside from that, we've already kind of done some predictions, and we'll do more when we see the promos in that for episode 4. Next one's from Zazman Reviews, and he says, hey, Travis up. I got a question for The Walking Dead for you. Of course you do. You always do. You got great questions. He says, when or how do you think the Wolves will come back for the ultimate attack? By the way, this kind of resembles the Governor's attack in the comics. The Governor attacked and he says here, died in the first battle, while in the TV show he attacked 2 times, the second being from the comics. I think you're a little confused there, Zaz. He did attack a few times in the comic series too. He had to retreat at one point, and then he came back in again. So it was there was some back and forth involved in the comic series as well too, and it was really exciting, by the way. Made for one of the best parts of the Walking Dead comic series, as well as All Out War parts 1 and 2. The Wolves attacked once in the comic series and died within 4 pages, while in the show they've attacked once already, with the second possibly being from the comics, with the little pig, let me in line. See these similarities. Anyways, keep up the great work as always. Thanks, man. Yeah, no, this is something that we kind of figured out early last season. Not early, like in season 5, but as soon as we saw the Wolves not far in the second half, we kind of put that together that, the little pig let me in line, when Rick was wearing his cop uniform inside Alexandria, would be the big bad wolf. So we kind of put those together that it must be this group, that must be doing that. That was one of kind of the earlier videos I did before we even saw any of the members of the wolves. So yeah, no, it's that's cool, and I think you're right. I think there's going to be quite a bit of back and forth, and they're certainly going to use them a lot more than they did in the Walking Dead comic book series. I'm not sure why Kirkman did what he did in the comic book series, where he just kind of brought in that group and they were killed off like nothing. It was really exciting, but it was over so fast. It was almost like the characters were non-existent. But he does put in some here and there. He has some survivors that are not really like expanded upon. Some villains just kind of show up and are killed off right away, or things like that happen. Whereas the TV series tends to kind of inspect that a lot more with Terminus and also with this. But with the Hunters, they kind of blew past that pretty quick. They probably could have expanded the Hunters at least another episode or two, and I actually would have loved it quite a bit. It would have been really good. But that said, it's it was season 5 was incredible anyway, so you can't really complain too much. Next one is from Cigar Nick Nick's 89. He says, Trev, do you think World Patriot was rooting for the Wolves when they attacked Alexandria? Of course. I think we've given him enough attention already. Let's stop talking about World Patriot. One after that is Sam Priestley says, I have been thinking about this theory. What if the governor's bad eye is Morgan Staff's dad and his brother is Negan? What are your thoughts? So stupid. And then Mr. Xenomorph123 says, what if Carol's casserole is Negan? Nice. Nice, guys. I don't know where you... I did the one video on a what if topic. Some of the videos, like, here's the thing with the channel, we can talk about whatever we want. They don't have to be all serious topics all the time. We can kind of goof around or do some goofy topics. There's nothing wrong with that. As long as we're having fun, that's what it's all about. It's an entertainment series. It's about fun to begin with and enjoyment, so and interest. So, we can talk about some fun stuff, and, what-if topics are fun. I don't do what-if topics too often. People have asked for the what-if Shane survived topic at least 1,000 times, so I did. I think I've done at least 2 of those, maybe 3 over the years. Next one's from Blackstrat370. He says, hey, Trev, not sure if you missed it or not, but did you notice at the end of JSS, one of the wolves picked up a gun as Morgan told him to get the hell out? Yes, I did, and they made sure that we noticed that. Most viewers would have seen that. And will the gun come into play later on? I think so. It might be the only one they have. So, it might be the only gun the Wolves have, period. So I'm sure it will come to use. I was actually thinking in that episode, I was like, oh shit, is he going to try to shoot Morgan right now? But then Morgan started kind of coming towards him. So, if Morgan would have ran up fast enough, he would have been able to knock the gun out of his hand, I would think. Plus, that guy's scared to shit of Morgan because he's already whooped his ass once. So he's kind of learned helpless against Morgan, learned helplessness. Next one's Mr. Xenomorph123. And this will be the last one for today's Q&A, guys. How far back do you think Here's Not Here will go? Do you think we will see back Morgan's son Dwayne got infected, or a little further? I don't think so. I think they'll probably pick up after Clear, probably, because if they went and they did, his Dwayne and stuff, they'd have to get like the same. Well, I guess they could use the same actor who's older now, but it wouldn't look right because he'd be way too old and be like 5 years later from the premiere, and it just. I don't know. It would just be, unless they replaced him with a different actor, which could work. That could actually work okay. And I would like to see that. But I just don't think they're going to do that. I think it would probably make more logical sense to do it after Clear up until the time when he meets Rick's group again, or close to it when he sets out to find them. Something of the sort. And of course, we probably won't see the prison or anything like that unless they do it with CG or something, which would be cool. But, we wouldn't be able to because the set's destroyed. So anyway, that's it for today's Q&A questions, guys. I want to thank you guys for all the questions this week. I think we had a great week this week. Made quite a few videos and had a lot of fun in the channel talking about The Walking Dead as always. Can't wait to see you guys back for tonight. The review, of course, for tonight for episode 3. And then, of course, the predictions. And we'll do a top 5 if it's a good episode, which I think it will be. And then after that, of course, continue to send me your questions for this week coming up for more Q&As. So that's it for this video, guys. If you liked it, please thumb it up below. Please like it. If you want to help support the channel, please share. Please favorite. And if you're new and you want to subscribe, you can go ahead and subscribe at the bottom left. That's it for today's. See you guys again tonight. As always, it's Trev. Same peace.